Good morning, my name is Anthony Wilkinson. It's Thursday, May the 27th, 2010, and I'm here in Goderich on beautiful Lake Huron. I move out of the way here, you can see the salt mine and the Goderich Harbor and the Lake Huron. It is 10 to 8. It's probably in the low 20s. I got down here probably a quarter to 7, and it's funny how busy it gets in the, it's only May, but it's gotten really busy, and there's people swimming off the pier, which is insane because it's freezing in the lake still. And I just like to talk about the purpose of what I'm trying to do here with this video blog. I like to talk about Goderich, Ontario, and tell people like you out in the world kind of what's going on here, and to talk about some of the local issues that are going on, and to perhaps have some interviews with local people in the community. And of course, I'm in the technology business, so I'll occasionally talk about technology, the internet, social media, things like that. One of the contentious issues this week has been the development of Parson's Cork on the edge of town. It was used as or adjacent to a hiking trail. And there's been a lot of talk about the ecological impact of turning it into commercial development, or the industrial development perhaps, and things got pretty heated, of course. When the environment's concerned, of course, these things happen. It's strange because this process, I think, has been ongoing for a couple of years, and lately in Goderich we've had a real high amount of industrial space come available to the market. There's vacant industrial properties scattered all over town now. So the question, I guess, is this the time to move forward with that development? Or, is it one of those things where you have to start the process and see it through to the end? I mean, there will eventually be a demand for it. The Goderich struggles, I think, in the manufacturing, providing jobs for manufacturing. We've had a really big employer leave town, and I think there has been a little bit of head scratching about where the jobs are going to come from in the manufacturing sector. We all know that manufacturing in North America is having problems, and that, of course, the growth of Chinese manufacturing and things like that is what can we make here, what is feasible to make here. My personal opinion, of course, is research and development should be leading the way on these things, and if the Chinese can manufacture it cheaper than we can, we let them do that. I mean, their economy will catch up to theirs, their wage structure will catch up to theirs in some respects. So it's an interesting argument. There's been an environmental assessment done. I mean, there's a lot of talk about moving the access road to there's some trees that aren't going to be cut down. Just really interesting, I think, in terms of, again, we have to move forward as a town, we have to create jobs, but at the same time, how do you balance that against the environmental side? And it gets very, very heated sometimes. Some of the other things, I think, as well, is the technology in town. Setting up technology development in town, I think, is very important. And it would be nice to see some of this space set aside, some of this vacant industrial space set aside for some sort of tech incubator, or startup companies. And we face a real challenge here in that we are, an hour and a half away from the nearest university. And there's been initiatives in town like the Lake Huron Learning Collaborative to bring some courses here, but they're typically not, they're not in the sciences usually. And how do we kind of branch that out to, how do we bring post-secondary here, and how do we bring technical innovation here, and how do we bring technical learning here? I think it's a real unanswered question right now. I was at the Canada 3.0 Summit in Stratford a couple weeks ago, and Stratford has really kind of gone after that side of things. They have a campus now from the University of Waterloo. The summit, they talked about basically the setup of a tech incubator in Stratford. And locally, I mean, Goderich and Stratford tend to vie for the same resources. Stratford, of course, being a little bit bigger than Goderich, but we're both kind of the hubs in the local area. I mean, Goderich is against the lake, and Stratford is more inland. And how do we, as Goderichians bring those resources to town? And how do we get young people into technology? And how do we, how can we don't have to keep them here, but how do we make it the opportunities available for them to pursue post-secondary education without necessarily leaving town or going to Toronto and perhaps not coming back? And the other side of that, of course, is once they get out of school, they have to have something to do with their skills and with their passions. So how do we create jobs that the people in school today and looking for post-secondary education, how do we create the jobs that they're going to want to go into, and how do we create the businesses that are going to succeed? And I don't have all the answers for that for sure, but I do think setting aside some sort of land or some sort of office areas for really startup companies to get in there and have the opportunity to develop a new technology, and minimize their overhead and have some sort of knowledge sharing between tech firms is very important. And it's something that's really not existing in Goderich right now. There's a couple of businesses that do actually develop technology, but they're so few and far between. I can really only think of a handful in terms of like a new product to market, which is probably wrong actually. If I talk to enough people scattered around town, I might find some more under rocks and things like that. These things are very underground. They're, in garages and basements and backs of some industrial space somewhere. So I hope you enjoy listening to me talk. It's strange talking to a laptop on the beach with people walking around. And I hope you comment on the video, and you can send me an email. And I'm going to post some contact information. Either I'll fancy it on top of the video, or I'll put it off to the side on the site. So thank you for watching, and good morning, Goderich.